أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي ربنا زدنا علما آمين يا رب العالمين. Welcome to lesson 71 of our study of al-Balagha. Let's continue with al-Isti'ara. Have you ever heard someone say he's a lion on the battlefield or she has a heart of gold? Of course, no one is really a lion and hearts aren't made of gold. So, what's going on here? This is in al-Bayan and it's al-Istiara. And Alhamdulillah, we have started with al-Istiara. And we have learned that istiara is when we describe something by borrowing the name or image of something else to make the meaning stronger, more beautiful, or more vivid. And it's not just about the fancy language, it's about expressing deep meanings in few words. Today, inshallah, we are going to continue with more examples with al-istiara. We have learned that there are four main components from which of this tashbih and from which the three are left out. So we'll get al-istiara. We have mushabba bihi, adad tashbih, wajh shabah. So only the thing being compared to mushabba bihi remains and it's used directly as a metaphor. So this is al-istiara. We only have mushabba bihi and it's used as a direct metaphor. So today, inshallah, we are going to continue with more examples and let's see. We are going to see that how they are going to work, how istiara is going to work, how to spot it, and how it brings richness and power to the Arabic speech, especially in the Quran, poetry, and even everyday language. Let's see, just discover how these words work. So here we are going to see with the first example today, inshallah, and it is Muhammadun yatakallamu bid-durur. We have been doing these examples for when we were doing about a tashbih when a few of the components are left out. So this is Muhammadun yatakallamu bid-durur. Muhammad speaks with pearls. So what does this really mean? So literally it says Muhammad is speaking with pearls, but of course we know that he's not actually speaking with the real pearls coming out of his mouth. So the real intended meaning is Muhammad's words are so precious and beautiful and full of wisdom, just like pearls. So it's a poetic way to say his speech is valuable and refined. It is like we are comparing his words with pearls to show that how his speech is so valuable and refined. So why is this metaphor this called as tiara? Because we know that there is an implied comparison between his words and pearls. So the sentence doesn't say his words are like pearls, which should be or it would be a simile. Instead, it directly says that he speaks with pearls, which creates a strong, beautiful image, and that's what makes it a stiara. Saying Muhammad speaks with pearls is a poetic way to describe someone's speech as wise and valuable, and it doesn't mean literal pearls. So it's a metaphor comparing his words to pearls to show how special they are. So pearls means here wise and valuable word. So this is istiara, using a beautiful image to describe something without saying it directly. This is our first example. Now we have the second example, mina zulumati ila nur, out of darkness into light. So this is from Surah Al-Ibrahim, ayah number 1. What does this mean? Literally, it sounds like people are walking out of the physical darkness and stepping into the real light. Like mina zulumati ila nur, out of darkness into light. So people are not literally in darkness or walking into light. So, but that's we know that here it's sounding like the people are walking out, but that's not what actually happening. So the real intended meaning here is the darkness is the ignorance or disbelief, and we can say misguidance, and the light is the knowledge, faith, and the guidance, the clarity, the faith. So this metaphor shows how the Quran helps people move from a life of confusion, a life of misguidance, to a life filled with faith purpose, and understanding. And why is this istiara? Because we know that the words darkness and light are not meant literally. They are used to symbolize negative and positive spiritual states, we can say. So the comparison is implied, not stated directly. That's exactly what makes it a istiara. So this phrase out of darkness into light isn't about turning on a light bulb. It's a metaphor for how the Quran rescues people from being lost in disbelief and brings them into faith, clarity, and truth. So here darkness is equals to misguidance and light is equal to guidance and the faith. So this is a very powerful istihara showing how Islam brings transformation to the heart and mind. Alhamdulillah, we are done with the second example. Let's see another example. Fisuki Najmun Shahirun. So in the market there is a famous star. So also since Tara, and what does it mean? Literally, it sounds like there is a real star, like the one in the sky in the market, but that's not what is happening here. Here, the real intended meaning is there is a very famous or popular person in the market, maybe a well-known singer, maybe an influencer or a celebrity, we can say. So the word star, Najmun, is a metaphor for someone who stands out, who shines, or is widely recognized, just like a star in the night sky. So why is this metaphor? Why are we are calling it a star? Because this person is being compared to a star, bright, famous, and noticeable. So, but the word like or as isn't used, and the comparison is implied. So that makes it a metaphor, a stiara, and not a simile. It's a stiara. So when someone says there is a star in the market, they don't mean a star fell from the sky. They mean there's a famous or a popular person, um, who someone who shines in the crowd. That's a stara, comparing a person to a star to show how special and well known they are. So star here is to stand out or an admired person. A perfect example of how Arabic uses beautiful images to express deeper meanings. Alhamdulillah. So the next example we are going to do is Tabarra al-Bahru al-Fuqara. The ocean donated to the poor. So what does it mean? Literally, we can say that it sounds like the ocean itself is giving charity to the people, to the poor, but we know oceans don't give donations. So the real intended meaning here is a person who's extremely generous give charity. Someone we can say who's giving is so abundant and constant, it's being compared to an ocean. Just like the ocean is vast and never ending, this person's generosity never stops. So, why is this tiara? Because we know that the person is not directly named, instead, they are called the ocean. That's a metaphor for endless generosity. There is no like or as the comparison is implied, not stated outright. Like that makes it a classic example of Stiara using a vivid image, the ocean, to describe a deeper trait that's generosity. So saying the ocean donated to the poor is a beautiful metaphor, beautiful Stiara to show how someone gave with huge generosity, like the ocean, always giving and never running out. So ocean is like we can say it's someone extremely generous. It's a poetic way, a beautiful way to praise a person's giving nature without even mentioning their name. That's the power of we can say that's how stiara is used. Let's see the next example now. Ma'ana kawakibu fil qa'adi. We have stars in the hall. So this is also a stiara. There aren't actual stars in the room, and it's mean that they're very important or well-known people around, and they are very important, like celebrities or scholars, like famous or important people are with us in the hall. So stiara comparing people to stars to show they stand out, just like the other example that we did. So here, literally, it sounds like the ocean. We know that here the famous people are being compared. So we are done with another example, beautiful example, and it was almost similar to the previous one. Let's see the next example. رأيت أسدا يقاتل في المعركة لسيفه. So I saw a lion fighting in the battle with his sword. So at first sounds like there's a real lion in the battle using a sword, which isn't possible. Of course, we know that the real intended meaning here is a brave warrior fighting fearlessly in the battlefield. He was so strong and fearless that he was described as a lion. So in Arabic, we know that Asad lion is a common metaphor for someone who is bold, brave, and powerful, and we have been doing it in Ilm al-Balagha for a long time. So just like a lion in the wild. So this is istiara because the man is being called a lion, not just compared to one. The comparison is implied. There's no like, no as we can say there is no other tashbih. It paints a strong image of his courage and strength, which makes it a clear istiara. Saying a lion fighting with his sword doesn't mean a real lion with a weapon. It's a metaphor for a very brave fighter. So, lion it means courageous warrior. This is also a very classic example of istiara that shows how Arabic uses bold images to describe human qualities in a powerful and a poetic way. So, like this is we can say also a beautiful example. So let's see another example now. Let's We are done with the example. So this is al-istiara. We are alhamdulillah done with al-istiara, and we know that we are almost ending istiara. Inshallah, I hope we are going to continue with al-kinaya from the next session. So now we have seen how Arabic doesn't always say things directly. Sometimes it paints a picture instead. So istiara, through istiara, a warrior becomes a lion, a generous person becomes an ocean, and guidance becomes light. So it's not just about being poetic; it's about bringing meanings to life, making speech more powerful, emotional, and memorable. So always remember, if something is said in a way that's not meant literally, but the real meaning is still clear, it might be just isti'ara. And the more you recognize isti'ara in Arabic, the more beauty you will see, especially in the Quran, Hadith, and classical poetry. So also when you spot a strange or surprising sentence in Arabic, just pause and ask yourself, is this literal or is it deeper than it seems? So that's the secret to mastering istiara. Barakallahu li wa lakum. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.